Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. Since we're getting closer to the Siyum Rambam, this year the Siyum Rambam is Adar Sheni, I think it's Tesvav or Tezayin Adar Sheni. And also we're getting close to Pesach. Erev Pesach is the Yom Huledes, is the birthday of the Rambam. So, and this year it's the 40th year of the establishment of the learning of the Rambam, the Rebbe established. So I want to share with you, this is a special program. I want to share with you a pekel that the Rebbe gave to Rabbi Nissa Mindel. This is a pekel. This has Ksovim, documents about the Siyum Rambam in Spain that the Rebbe sent Rabbi Avram Gluck to Spain 1985 and 1986 to make celebrations. So in here you have a lot, maybe 200 pages, something special. Some of them are in Hebrew, some of them are in English, some of them are in Spanish. So to make this year special, I thought I would share with you a new Gilui Oyer, new revelation. So COL has the schus that we should be able to, I share with you some at least, I can't everything, but just a few things, what's in this pekel that the Rebbe gave. Now, every year we make siyumim, we make farbrengenishen all over for Siyum Rambam. Every city, Chassidim makes siyumim, which is important, and the Rebbe wants to make it that we should have siyumim. And then people have speeches, and everybody speaks what they think is important. But this pekel is something that I feel is something new and something that the Rebbe saw it, and the Rebbe was involved in that whole year, and why he started the whole thing of 850 year celebration that we should make then. So this is what this pekel is all about. I also have a kitzur of the biography that the Rebbe asked Rabbi Mindel in 1952 to write a biography on the Rambam, and the Rebbe was Magia, Mamish. He wrote notations on the whole, almost Mamish, all pages in Hebrew on the notations of the biography, even though people know it. But this is very interesting, the way the Rebbe said we should write and the way the Rebbe wrote. But I think we'll have time today to share with you this. But before I continue to share with you some of the things of this amazing pekel that the Rebbe gave to Rabbi Mindel, Benegea de Rambam in Spain, I want to just say that there is a similarity between the Rambam and the Rebbe. The Rebbe spoke by Farbrengen, and that everybody knows, that there's a similarity between the Rambam and the Alter Rebbe. But that I'm not going to repeat. You can always look it up. But there is a similarity between the Rebbe and the Rambam. The Rebbe was the Rambam of our generation. Just like the Rambam, he picked up the spirit of everyone, Jews and non-Jews. He helped people that had tzfeikis, doubts in Amunah. He wrote the Moire Nevuchim. He wrote the Igeret Taimon. The Rambam dealt with the perplexed. He was known in the entire world. The Rambam was the target of controversy. He knew science. He was a doctor. He wrote letters not only in Hebrew, but in Arabic. He helped Goyim prevention medicine. He wrote Sforim in Nigla, which is Yad HaChazaka, and also in Esther, Yisoides V'Amud HaChochma, and more. Our Rebbe wrote Sforim Nigla and Chassidus. He wrote letters not only in Hebrew. I don't know if there is a Rebbe, Rabbeim, there's many Rabbeim Kenainore. There's many Rosh Yeshivas. I don't know whether they wrote in other languages besides the Rambam. The Rebbe wrote in different languages. He wrote in Hebrew, he wrote in English, he wrote in French, he wrote in Spanish, he wrote in Russian, different languages, just like the Rambam. The Rebbe became a Rebbe after the Holocaust. The people were down, Baruchnius, the spirit was down, there was Fakis in Amunah, and the Rebbe became a Rebbe, and the Rebbe lifted up the whole generation, just like the Rambam. The Rebbe wrote science. We gave out letters, the letter in spirit, or many other letters and letters about science, mathematics, like the Rambam. He wrote everything, and he was a target of controversy like the Rambam, as we know. The Rebbe was involved in Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei, and as a matter of fact, I spoke about it many times, that the Rebbe asked Rabbi Mindel to write a Shulchan Aruch on Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. And here we see, just like the Alter Rebbe and the Rambam, their yortzeit is within 3-4 days. The Rambam's yortzeit is Chof Tevis, and the Alter Rebbe's yortzeit is Chof Dalet Tevis. The Rebbe birthday is Yud Aleph Nisan, and the Rambam's birthday is a few days later, Yud Dalet Nisan. And the Rebbe established that we should learn every day the Rambam. This is the similarity between the Rebbe and the Rambam. So now I want to share with you this was a flyer that was before the celebration in Cordoba in Spain, where the statue of the Rambam was, and here the Rebbe gave Rabbi Mindel all these, this is the Rambam, the way the Rambam, the statue of the Rambam pictures. This is all the Rebbe had, and he gave it to. It's of that. So they made a celebration. So they wrote, they sent out flyers. So let me just first read a flyer that they wrote. In the year 1135, in the city of Cordobas, Spain, was born Moses ben Maimon, whose name was to resound through the centuries that followed as the philosopher, physician, scientist, writer, rabbi, and biblical and Talmudical scholar known as the Maimonides. This year, for the first time in half a century, Cordoba is mounting a major celebration of the man whose statue stands in Tiberias, a small plaza in the Jewish quarter of the city. Among the elements of the celebration are a course in Jewish culture now underway and running through March 27 and focusing on outstanding Jewish figures of Andalusia in the 9th, 10th, and 11th centuries. A religious service, March 30, in Cordoba's 14th century synagogue. Recitals in May and June of medieval Sephardic poetry and music, and a symposium of in September, bringing together an international body of scientists, scholars, and specialists in the various branches of Maimonides, knowledge, and exploring his personality, his life, and his works. Many of the activities of this 850th anniversary observance will take place in La Juraria, Cordoba, Old Jewish Quarter, a neighborhood of narrow streets, small plazas, and whitewashed houses with wrought iron windows and gates, balconies and tiles, patios adorned with flowers. This was the note that he sent all over before that. Now, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to read to you what, this is part of the Pekel, what Rabbi Avram Gluck wrote to the king of Spain. In this Pekel, we have the Rebbe send letters to the king. The Rebbe sent letters to Rabbi Gluck, the emissary to Spain. Correspondence between the Rebbe and Rabbi Gluck, the Rebbe and the king, Rabbi Groner and Rabbi Gluck and the king of Spain, Rabbi Groner and Rabbi Mindel, a letter to the President Reagan, how much the Rebbe was involved. And also we have here in this Pekel a letter of the Shliach. Unfortunately, he passed away not long ago, Yitzchak Goldstein, Olav Hasholim. And this Pekel is a lot of heroes. The Rebbe, every step of the way, in the year 1985, the Rebbe said to what the Rebbe said to Rabbi Gluck. So here I want to read this letter that Rabbi Gluck wrote to the Royal Majesty, the King of Spain. Permit me, Your Majesty, to introduce myself as the emissary of the Grand Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson of New York. Enclosed, Your Majesty will find a national roll of honor from the U.S. authorities in appreciation of the selfless leadership and moral guidance of the Grand Rabbi throughout the world. The Grand Rabbi instigated the study of the works of Maimonides on occasion commemorating 850 years of the birth of this great scholar and luminary in Cordoba. On the instruction of the Grand Rabbi, I have made many journeys to Cordoba and Seville during 1985. With thanks to the Almighty help, I have been successful in transmitting his admiration and gratitude to the great personage in Andalusia, leading to meaningful correspondence. May I beg Your Majesty grace to be granted an audience to enable me to bring the greetings and blessings of the Grand Rabbi direct to His Majesty the King of Spain. It is well known how occupied His Majesty is in the tireless work of his country and the world. However, I feel sure that His Majesty will extend His royal favor to receive me in my capacity as emissary of the Holy Grand Rabbi. May I remain with my deepest respect and prayerful good wishes to His Majesty, the royal family, and his people of Spain respectively, and he signed here. So, since I read this, I'm going to read to you now what Rabbi Gluck was by the king, and he wrote to the Rebbe what happened. We don't have much time for anything else. We need maybe 6 or 7 programs to do this pekel that the Rebbe gave to Rabbi Mindel. But I will read what he has sent to the Rebbe. This is from Rabbi Gluck. This was in month of Elul. We returned, Baruch Hashem, in peace from Madrid on Sunday. In addition, what we already said to Rabbi Groner, we want to add a few more lines to the Rebbe. On Zion Elul, Erev Shabbos, we came to the palace of the king and queen. The king and queen accepted us, B'sever Panim Yofes, with great pleasure. Now, by the way, I am translating from Hebrew to English. So just I hope I'm doing a good job. From this is in Hebrew. He wrote to the Rabbi in Hebrew. We were there more than a half an hour. We gave over to them everything the Rebbe told us through Rabbi Groner. And we told them that this message is from the Mishaleach, the sender, which is the Rebbe. What did the Rebbe say? He wrote, what did Rabbi Gluck tell the king what the Rebbe said? Number 1, Melech Basode, this was in the month of Elul, king in the field, and he explained to him, which I'm not going to go to explaining now. Number 2, the Rebbe said, tell him, Malchuso de Aro, Ke'ein Malchuso de Rakia, the king of the world is similar to the king of heaven. Number 3, Rosh Hashanah is a yontif l'chol ha'olam, to the entire world. Number 4, Rosh Hashanah is the coronation of the king. And it's a year of Chagigas HaRambam, celebration of 850 years of the Rambam. This is what he should give over to the king of Spain. That's a right to the Rebbe. We gave the king a Tanya printed in Spain, and we wrote something inside. We are giving the Rebbe what we wrote. So in this pekel is what Rabbi Gluck wrote to the king, a copy. We gave a present to the queen, a piece of jewelry. He writes, we gave a present to the general and his wife. We spoke about the Zayim Mitzvahs B'nai Noyach. And the advice of my wife, Rabbi Glick writes to the Rebbe, we brought a newspaper in Spanish, and the king asked to leave the paper with him a copy. And we are giving a copy to the Rebbe, which that newspaper is here. The Rebbe gave it to Rabbi Mindel. We also said a bracha, and the king and the queen got up. They were very emotional. And we said, Baruch Ato Hashem Elokeinu Melech Ha'olam She'echayonu V'kimonu V'higiyonu Lizman Hazeh. That's how he writes to the Rebbe. The Avira, the air was very warm and pleasant. Especially the queen was very touched and interested. They valued our shlichus. The queen told my wife the sad news that the son of the general, his name is Kempo, passed away the night before, Yom Hey, Yom Vav, between the Thursday and Friday, and that the king and queen returned a short while ago from the hospital. This all writing to the Rebbe. When I gave the king the Tanya, I read to him what I wrote inside, also about Melech Basodeh. He told me he doesn't understand Hebrew. So I told him I will send him a Tanya translated in English from Rabbi Nissim Mindel. The queen asked some questions what we spoke in Teiras Chasidus and about the Mishaleach, the Rebbe. And we told her we will also send all the explanation in English, and he sent her, and it's all in the Pekel. We asked how is her children, and she answered, a daughter lives in Madrid, a son in English, and one, another one somewhere else. I just cannot read what it says here. It's in Spanish. Attached, I am giving the Rebbe 4 pictures. There was no official photographer because the general's son passed away, so they didn't want an official photographer there, but they still made their own pictures. So these pictures that Rabbi Gluck has, he sent to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe gave it to Rabbi Mindel. The king said he wants to send a letter to the Rebbe through the London embassy, but that he wants that Rabbi Glick should hand it over to the Rebbe. So here we have that the Rebbe he gave him the Tanya, what was written in the Tanya, he gave to the Rebbe, a copy of the newspaper about the Zayim Mitzvahs, he gave the Rebbe. There's all here. 4 pictures, 5, and the letter in general. So this is what the meeting was. Now, one more thing. I think it's too long. This program, usually it says over here that the Rebbe should tell them this, what the Rambam did. This is just a few more paragraphs. I don't know why it's attached to this. This is written by the Rambam. I live in Fostet. The Sultan resides in Cairo. These 2 places are 2 Shabbos limits, marked off areas around a town within which it is permitted to move on Shabbos approximately 1.5 miles distance from each other. My duties to the Sultan are very heavy. I am obliged to visit him every day, early in the morning, and when he or any of his children are indisposed, I cannot leave Cairo, but must stay during most of the day in the palace. It also frequently happens that 1 or 2 of the officers fall sick, and I must attend to their healing. Hence, as a rule, every day early in the morning, I go to Cairo, and even if nothing usually happens there, I do not return to Fostet until the afternoon. Then I am famished, but I find the Etchmers filled with people, both Jews and Gentiles, nobles and common people, judges and policemen, friends and enemies, a mixed multitude who await the time of the return. I dismount from my animal, wash my hands, go forth to my patients, and entreat them to bear with me while I partake of some light refreshments. The only meal I eat in 24 hours. Then I go to attend to my patients and write prescriptions and directions for their ailments. Patients go in and out until nightfall. And sometimes even as the Torah is my faith, until 2 hours and more into the night. I converse with them and prescribe for them, even while lying down from sheer fatigue. When night falls, I am so exhausted that I can hardly speak. We don't even work as hard as the Senate. And he writes more. I don't think I'm going to share with you. But in any case, so the COVID, the 40 years that the Rebbe established, so this is, again, people farbring, people, and Baruch Hashem, they make siyumim, and that's what the Rebbe wanted. But people speak, and everybody speaks what they have in mind. But this pekel has so much in it that this is a new gil ayr of the Rambam. So I don't know if next week I'm going to continue this. Maybe we'll do it before Pesach. So Mitzvah next week we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.